10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. "30 seconds to battle." The battle begins.
That's very good. First blood on the sand strikes the perfect note. Even but warm ash is to be feared. What sort of prize is this?
Invisibility!
Usually I'm not biased in the sense that I only care about the lineup. So I keep trying to find these skills, but I keep trying to find these skills, but obviously it's kind of hard because they keep killing each other all over the map. I mean, the SEA is such an aggressive region. I'll miss some in the early. I really can't. I don't have enough cameras to cover all. Right, like I was saying, I just don't really care. I just like to have a better lineup. And, well, whenever the mistake happens, I really react a bit aggressively to it. That said. I continue with the analysis, obviously. From now, I'm actually looking at it from the point of the Happy Feet, because I think the lineup is really more interesting. The lineup for the Feminine D becomes more interesting in the mid game. Great Frostbite for clearing chains, BF1, careful, he has to use an Epicenter or something if he wants to counterattack this, because he has no Burrow Strike yet. He's not able to make it out alive thanks to a good pick of Infused Rain. That's very smart. What is the Burst back going for in the early game? Oh, wow, Yash is actually being harassed considerably by Cold Spray. One more hit, it's all he needs. Yasuo tried to kill the Bristleback and does get the kill before he dies. Now the Burst Strike coming out from BF1, going to Night Stalker, but Night Stalker has a silence, is ready to fight out this Sand King. The Caustic Finale, only one hit, but he misses it. That's so unfortunate. Jules can continue to dive this because he still has the help from 100 and Knight. However, in comes the first stun, and the Epicenter's committed. There's no Hex. The Burst Strike was available, and the poor Night Stalker will have the world turned onto his head, and he's going to be destroyed by two supports who decide to defy the status quo. So good job there by the Prominent D, really turning that team fight around. That was actually quite fantastic. And then now they're trying to get a kill in the mid lane against Ben-Hur. They don't have enough damage, I don't think. Ben-Hur is actually quite powerful, and he almost destroys R7 by accident. The Frostbite's available. They Frostbite this big great oak, and with that, the poor thing will just go down. You know when they say the whole door thing? Yeah, apologies. Yaj just go down the top lane. At least we caught that kill by the camera. I couldn't cast it because,
Dire's
again,
middle
door.
tower is under attack.
Anyway, the light worth for Happy Feet is starting to increase considerably as opposed to what apparently D has. It's not particularly the last hits. It's more of these kills they're getting in the mid game, which is not surprising. I mean, now we're looking to the mid game though. Let's see what items we saw. Panda in this situation is going. The Bristleback is playing the Vanguard Bristleback. That's pretty cool, honestly. As in this situation, the Vanguard Bristleback will be very effective to stop much of the Shadow Fiend's damage, the Ember Spirit, Night Stalker as well. You have a lot of low source or low. No, you have a lot of sources of physical damage in this enemy team. The Night Stalker, the Ember Spirit, the Shadow Fiend, but some of them don't really like going for items like the Ember Spirit or the Night Stalker, meaning their base damage isn't increased by that much, meaning the Vanguard punishes them further. Because what Vanguard does is it punishes essentially getting one attribute, which in this case is getting attack speed. And that one attribute is really really screws you over because that's defining the attribute. Just think about it this way. When you are a hero like Night Stalker, right? In the Hunter of the Night, you rely on your attack speed to get a bit of extra boost of damage, and you get just enough damage to kill people, right? The issue with what Vanguard does here is it makes it so that your all the attack speed you invested is actually null because your attacks will not deal that much damage regardless, and you should have invested in, you know, base attack damage or whatever more. As a result, the Vanguard makes it so that you last a bit longer in ganks, and in the early game you're much less likely to die, because again, anyone who relies on attack speed is destroyed. So heroes like Night Stalker, for example, really get crushed by an item like Vanguard in the early game, mind you. Yaj is still trying to fight this against 2 by the way. He has 4 stacks of Ispinazal Glue. I don't know if this is a good idea. In fact, NFR is almost dead, but Yaj, one more cool space, all they need, and they'll catch him out. Panda really taking advantage of this Timbersaw versus Bristleback lane. And in the bottom lane, they're going to James Naismith. He's so slow. His Remnant is going at the speed of Crystal Maiden, but he might still die to the Caustic Finale. He did what he could there, including using the Remnant, you know, the little Remnant trick plus the Searing Chains. That was really good. He could have almost made it out, but of course that Caustic Finale so OP, so strong with a little buff they gave him in the last 2 patches or so, making the Sanking viable again. So with that, Happy Feet sadly will lose their Ember Spirit, and no, that's not 2 patches ago. Actually, it was 8 patches ago. Jesus Christ, patches are going flying by like months. Like my career. The Dragon Lance being picked up now by Shadow Fiend is the first item. That's not a bad idea for him. The TA, I'm assuming, is going for Desolator. Yeah, Desolator is usually the first item for TA because of the farming speed it gives you. And now with the Ancient stacks, it's even more relevant because it's easier to make Ancient stacks and it's much more valuable to clear them quickly because, again, you want Desolator to clear them quickly. However, we do see that the poor Shadow Fiend decided to go for Dragon Lance, supposed to say her, or what, a Shadow Blade. So he's not trying to go for the early game, he's trying to go for the full-on carry build, which is interesting. Whereas the Timbersaw has decided to be more of the frontliner in the team at the beginning. However, I don't know how much this will work, because the 4 Protect 1 strategy would usually be okay if the early game had gone a bit better for the guys at Happy Feet. However, it hasn't really, so Shadow Fiend either participates in the team fights and helps out with breaking assaults, which means you need an early BKB for the Shadow Fiend. Or alternatively, you do what he's doing now, which is still hoping that his team will be able to win these early engagements with a Veil of Discord onto him. However, I don't see a viable way where they'll kill Panda, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm surprised Panda's still going for the Solo Crest, an item that got considerably nerfed and is not that powerful anymore this patch, but at the same time, you know, at the same time, Panda, of course, wants to get that extra boost in damage Solar Crest provides, and minus 10 armor, minus 14 armor to a Bristleback because Viscous Nasal Goo is not that big a deal either way. Oh, in the bottom lane, the epicenter comes on James Noise, but they even hex him, turn him into a chicken, sorry, and they also deal so much magical damage, but he survives somehow thanks to the help of Yaj. They actually cut down the tree. The Caustic Finale, though, finishes off the Ember Spirit, and one last Willing Death will even out the score. It's a 2-4-1, but one of them was a mid laner, so it's actually pretty even trade for both teams. And now in the top lane, Jules is trying to make it so that the trade is a bit more favorable for them. They want to kill the Bristleback in time, and they will do so. The raises come from behind, and that one point and Bristleback was not available because he decided to go for the talent tree instead. As a result, they can get the kill onto his Bristleback and punish his aggression even further. As at Happy Feet getting 2 kills in the map, something that I see that pro teams, or especially pro SEA teams, or the better SEA teams do a lot, and we'll talk about it in a second because Jules wants to help out. I think he must have gone BF1. I mean, why not try this tower yet? Silenced and third raise all they need. No, Wrecking Assault's even going to be pulled out. BF1 somehow still alive thanks to the burst. Like, the Earnest Shadows is annoying, but it's not that annoying. In fact, he's going to be perfectly fine. And now it comes to help from the Ember Spirit. Say, they want to take this tower. That's the whole point. Okay. Not just killing the Sand King, it's taking this tower now. They think he TP'd away. They scanned this part, and they didn't see anyone, so they know where he is now. Oh. Has he shown himself? I don't think so. The Sand King has no TP. I don't know if they checked his inventory before he died. In the middle lane, another team fight is happening. It's support for now. But now they have to clear the snakes to make sure that they don't lose this tower. As the tier 1 on the top lane has already fallen down, Yaj will be happy to tank the snake damage to get a bit more last hits onto them. And that's really going to help out his farm, actually. That's a lot of farm. Now, you consider all the snakes being farmed. That's, what, 10 snakes, all at 26 more or less. That's 260 extra gold just from killing all the snakes. That's a huge increase. So, congratulations, Timbersaw. Really recovered there. Able to get his Bloodstone at a decent timing. In fact, he's going to get it at minute 15 or so. His gold per minute is okay. Maybe not minute 15, minute 16. He's really close to it. Oh, Epicenter catches out the Shadow Fiend, but they want to stop the Epicenter from happening. The Searing Chains does stop it. It was weird because the sound was still going on, but the Epicenter was not happening. The Searing Chains cancel the channeling and stops the Epicenter from attacking Ben-Hur and dealing damage to him, allowing him to use the shrine much more safely, and more importantly, keep on farming, which is what Ben-Hur is looking for this whole game. Now, this Timbersaw on the bottom lane, he's trying to farm out the Solo Crest, but it seems like he's a bit confused about it. He wants to go for Hooded Defiance for ultimate tankiness. I don't know this ultimate tankiness. Oh shit! What did I just see? Night Stalker flew from one side of the map to the other, gaining extra vision. This is going to be so useful once you get Axe. Oh my god, Jules. This Night Stalker is so OP now. Well, not OP. OP is an exaggerated term. It's a very strong pick right now. Night Stalker should be, considering how many buffs he got into this style of play, it should be a first pick, first ban. I am surprised they banned Twin Protector over Night Stalker. Seriously. I think I want Monkey King bans. That's good. They've acknowledged that's not that great. Okay, BF1 on the blink there. Oh, Night Stalker starts hitting in. The Sandstorm doesn't give you that much delay, so Night Stalker has an easier time hunting you down. Meanwhile, in the backlines, we see that Arsan is trying to backdoor the Shadow Fiend. Or, I mean, does he come with an overgrowth? That's the important part. No overgrowth, or hasn't skilled it yet, at least, for whatever reason. Oh, Jesse Vash almost died to just 2 hits. That's Medallion really hurting him, but he survives in the end. Careful, because Temple might just kill him with just her Cyboys. In fact, they're going to catch out the poor Temple Protector, cut him down with the Chakram. That's an easy kill. Jesse Vash, though, does go down, wrecking his souls, catches out Panda, enough to lower his movement speed and force him out of this lane. And there it is. The Timbersaw says, "Hello, Panda. Why don't we have a bit of a tango?" In this case, tango ends with your death, though. But Yaj seems a bit, okay. Seemed a bit weird about this initiation, now finally committing to it. The Burst Strike comes out, hits 2, and this might be the counter initiation with X first. Now the Shackles. Yash still committing to this Panda kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it seems like Guzman is following in on the Shafine's footsteps, and they all want to go onto Yash. They get the overgrowth out. The damage from TA is considerable. He's forced to deny himself with his Bloodstone, losing the first 4 charges in an attempt to kill the Bristleback. Did not work out well for Happy Feet there. I mean, losing the Crystal Maiden, not a big deal, but losing the Bristleback, ooh, that was horrendous for them. Sorry, losing the Timbersaw, that was horrendous for them. Mainly because he just bought the Bloodstone. Had he not bought the Bloodstone, had he disassembled, or not had it assembled for that, that's fine. But he literally just assembled it for that team fight, losing 4 charges right off the bat for no reason. And that deny is really not that worth it. You'd rather let the Timbersaw die, conserve your charges, and that's it. So, thanks, Jericho Villa. I appreciate that. Sad that you can't stay, but good that you watched for the first thing. Right. They're gonna take this bottom tower down easily. I mean, the Prominent D has a really good damage here. With the Desolator and the Blink Dagger TA, it's actually really hard to bring her down regardless. And no, Bristleback, is that the objective? No, Epicenter comes in from the Sand King, doesn't catch out anyone. That was a failed Epicenter by the Sand King. And now is the time to fight. R7 will find out James A. Smith. But what are you doing, R7? He's been frostbitten. He's trying to walk away. But where are you walking away to if there's no home around here? There might be a lot of trees, but those trees are only gonna circle you in your death. With that, Yaj in the top lane manages to get a lot of space, and I mean, he doesn't recover those Bloodstone charges, which is a bit more important I think right now, but he's trying to go for that Yule Scepter to prevent some of the I can only imagine for the Nasal Goose stacks, maybe for the Ether Shock or the Burrow Strike, to prevent some of the melt damage or the Hurricane Pike if the TA does decide to go for Hurricane Pike afterwards. It's just 36 gold? Really? It's still 26 for me, my friend.
This'll come in handy.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Are you sure? It showed 26 for me, literally in the screen. 26, not 36. Either that or I saw it badly. But I'm pretty sure it's 26 gold, man. That's what I was basing my thing off. It was just all like I randomly said 26 gold. But that's an interesting fact. If it isn't in 26 gold, it is in fact 36. Treated like creeps, it's...
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
38, I was right. 26 to 38. Okay, I was not wrong. So the server wards to get a variable bounty. Okay, whew. For a second I thought I was retarded. It turns out I'm not. The being able to take the server wards gives you from 26 to 38. So on average gives you what? 32. 32 on average, which is 320 per sub rewards. But so on average, because we have to assume that's going to be around that age. I assumed it was 26 because it was the lowest value, but that was just an unfortunate hit by that timber sub. So yeah, it's a variable value. That's good. That's good. Happy for getting that from the serp rewards. Actually, it gives them a lot of pushing, or sorry, not pushing power, extra farming power. That's why you don't go for the extra serpent wards. Honestly, though, they're pretty good to get the extra wards summoned. Actually. Extra ward summon or Shackles duration, both are not that great on your Shadow Shaman. It's surprising. The buffs he's gotten is generally in how the game is played, but the Shadow Shaman himself doesn't seem like he's gotten that many buffs. In fact, those extra serpent wards don't seem to help him too much. It just gives extra farm to any team at this point. Oh, do they have a Burrow Strike to stop this? No. The issue here with the serpent wards is that as time goes on, anyone with a minimal attack speed can just destroy them because it's only 2 hits. Doesn't matter how much attack they have. So you can even have supports destroy them. And that's just giving farm to the enemy team. They're useful if you can protect them well, but most nowadays with the Solar Crest pickups, with how evasion is taken in the meta, how much supports go for utility items like Force Staff and Solar Crest, it's much more dangerous to catch out someone in the middle, or it's much safer to attack the serpent ones because there's not that many stuns to really stop you when that happens. Okay, Hunter in the Night is ready. So they can actually die this. It's only stopped the Bristleback though. Is the goal to go on the Bristleback here? I don't think so. Panda seems okay. Yeah, they can do Willing Death as much as they want, and they will deal a lot of damage to the Bristleback for that. But besides that, you really don't want to put on too much pressure because the enemy team could come in with a Smoke Gang, for example, like this happened. Epicenter, it'll catch out just the Crystal Maiden. No, it's the Shadow Fiend, the objective. There's the Melt. Ben-Hur, Hexed up, now rooted, and he's gonna go down. Jesse Vash is the next target of aggression. Easy kill into the Crystal Maiden. That's a 2 for none. Oh. Jesse Vash actually surviving for a bit longer for no reason. Yash wants to join the fray. Might be the wrong idea. Thank God you left. Nope. Rosmai is not letting him leave. He keeps attacking him with the Desolator. He's forced to be rooted though. Thanks to James Davis' great Searing Chains. And with that, it gives Yash enough HP to survive there. I mean, I think he would have survived regardless, but hey, it's not a bad help from the Searing Chains of the Ember. That said, the Prime and ND are doing pretty well in this mid game. I mean, they are taking advantage of this time, which... It's Caustic Finale. It's a Caustic Finale. Both pronunciations, though. Just American. It's just both pronunciations. Finale is another way of saying finale. It's just doesn't really matter. It's really the same thing. It just depends on your accent. My accent suits more finale. Your accent might suit more finale. I'm sorry, man. I speak with slang. What can I say? Movement speed extra, movement speed on the Shadow Shaman, 25 extra movement speed. Okay, that's the... so the guys from the Prime and ND will be not leading the game, but taking these team fights a bit better in the mid game because, like I said, the lineup is more of a mid game lineup. They have the help from Turn Protector here with the Overgrowth, and of course the Templar Assassin. Sorry, the Turn Protector's Overgrowth and the Epicenter are very strong skills in the early game for team fights. What are you doing, Jesse Bash? I mean, probably warding or giving some vision. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever. You're dead. They have a lot of good team fight spells. The guys from the Prime and ND. They have Overgrowth and of course the Epicenter and the Quill Spread later on, which is pretty powerful in the mid game for team fights. The enemy team does not have particularly too much team fight. Like I said, only the Timbersaw, and the Timbersaw's been dying. Well, not dying, but they've been putting a lot of pressure on him consistently, enough so that he can't actually put the damage or send out his damage output in the team fights. And you don't really have team fight in the sense of having a slow in an area or a root in an area or anything of the sort. I'm more interested in this tower than killing the Shadow Shaman. That's an extra bloodstone charge for the train. Oh, it is important. They root him out. James Naismith, a second root. Now the Burrow Strike. They have no way of escaping. Those two roots are very powerful. Even though it's a nerf to the Nature's Guys, obviously because of the bash, it's still good to get a root out, and it still screws over the Ember Spear. He needs a BKB to really deal with this, and that's probably not going to come out this game. He's going for Lincoln's first off. The push continues by, and they'll be taking down this tier 3 to the power of Happy Feet. No, Happy Feet's defense is too good. Happy Feet's defense is too good. The freezing field is actually zoning out the TA completely. That's gonna be an Aegis done. That's gonna be an Aegis completely done. And BF1 happens to catch the Shadow Fiend, and the Timber Saba won't kill anyone yet. In fact, BF1 will just sacrifice himself. That's a Burrow Strike and an Epicenter wasted. No more Burrow Strikes for you. Now it's time for the counter attack. Yash is losing a lot of damage here though. And Rusman will have to blink himself away. But Bristleback is lasting all this damage now. Yash is still surviving somehow with 12 bloodstone charges. He's gonna be able to have the HP regen to take down the Quill Sprays, or sorry, take in the Quill Sprays and still keep on fighting against the Bristleback. With that, Happy Feet will get another team fight to their favor. A lot of bloodstone charges coming on this Timbersaw. He's back to 13. They're back to the game. Honestly, this revived the Timbersaw completely. The Night Stalker himself is now going for Axe, gonna give him a huge boost in the mid game. The Shadow Fiend himself is also going for some useful items. The Dragonlance and the Mantisaw are very good to get that, you know, that late game Shadow Fiend kind of set up. You can go for things like he's got the Hurricane Pike. You need to go for something like a BKB. You need a BKB of some sort. You know, either a BKB or go for a very defensive item like a Scotty. But really, BKB seems like the right choice to go for. Even though both the Bristleback and the Temple Assassin don't annoy or don't care about the BKB, and the Trim Protector doesn't either, getting rid of the Shackles and the goddamn Hex in addition to the Burrow Strike is necessary in this game. So you can just hit freely. And oh no, that is a dead Night Stalker. And I think it's gonna be what, the Timbersaw joining him in the death? No, he might survive this. It's a Yule Scepter. He's gonna try to Timbersaw himself or Timber Chain himself away. Chakram to deal a bit of damage. The Solar Crest is sinking him in, and he decides to use a deny in the end. Goes back to the 4 bloodstone charges. And James Naismith has an arcane aura just to walk himself away. Able to use the Rhinos a bit more efficiently. That's actually quite good. We haven't really talked about this, but the Ember Spirit has been playing really aggressively, as you've seen this game, and it's benefited him because of the arcane aura, allowing him to use his Rhinos a bit more successively. You don't usually have issues with Remnant charges, but you do have issues with mana, especially because you Flame Guard and you Sleight of Face and Searing Chains the lane if you want to push it fast, and the Arcane Aura allows you to do that. So that's pretty good on the Heavy Feet side. We see that's why there's so much flip pushing going on by James, and why you went for such early Travel Boots. That's a really good idea. Usually Embers go for early Travel Boots, but in this case the Ember specifically went for it as a second item at the Rail of Discord, which is a bit rare nowadays. There's a lot of variations in the Ember builds, but it's not as common to see travels every single time. So it's a good idea for Happy Feet. Jones himself really needs to get the Aghanim's though, and then it needs to start fighting at night. With the Hunter and the Night passive, which is and the active itself is so powerful. The Darkness, which received a no buff, sorry, not the Darkness buff. The Moonshot received a slight buff because the creep range, the creep vision reduction. So now it's much easier to gank at night, especially with the Hunter and the Night and the Aghanim Scepter. It's just really powerful, honestly. And with the Darkness also reducing your vision even further, only your vision though, and the ward's vision, not the creeps itself. So overall, the Night Stalker's got a huge buff this patch just by indirect buffs to him, and they need the Aghanims to really take advantage of this. The Shadow Fiend though is pretty well farmed, has nice experience, going to level 20, matching the TA in farm most always, and is now deciding to go for the Butterfly, which is the only item of evasion that they get too nerfed, and there's no Solar Crest in the enemy team, which is good, because the lack of Solar Crest makes it so that they want to go for that kind of Butterfly. And you're punishing the fact that the Train Protector decided to go for a mechanism. It's such an obvious mechanism, and it's not a great one anyway, so because it's coming late. And the counter summon decided to not go for Solar Crest either because he needs other items, Blink Dagger, Force Staff, etc., etc., maybe even an Axe later on in the game. So, going for Butterfly is a pretty safe bet. The only Solar Crest that exists here is a Bristleback, and frankly, either he uses it on you or that's done. Well, careful. Shadow Fiend dead. Hex. Ooh, he's gonna survive a bit longer. Hurricane Pike tries to use the Requiem of Souls. Will reduce some damage, and that's actually a dead Shadow Shot before he goes down. That was a pretty important double Requiem of Souls, but sadly doesn't get more than one kill, and he does die regardless. The Ghost Scepter used by this Temper Assault to prevent some of the Templar Assassin damage, but the Ember Spirit's already dead. Templar Assassin decided to go onto Yash, slowing down considerably. The Yoster's forced out by Yash, but they still have enough damage to kill him off. The Templar from Roosemind is just destroying this enemy team from Happy Feet. Good job, Roosemind. Good job. That's a lot of burst damage. While the Solar Crest, by the way, on Bristleback is not as important as on a support. Bristleback has an objective and he wants to kill the objective primordially. So if he decides to go on Ember first, he's going to use Solar Crest on Ember immediately. Whereas the Permanent D might save the Solar Crest for a Butterfly potential if you are a support. The Bristleback, since he's a carry, and that's one of the items that gives him damage, they cannot really rely too much on that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
And the tower damage starts coming out by Roosemind. I think is looking bad for the Prime ND. Actually looking really bad. Because, sorry, not for the Prime, for Happy Feet. Because the tower's starting to go down. It's still within the enemy team's, mid game where they're strong. And the Shadow Fiend does not have too much of an impact. The Timbersaw as well has been denied his impact in the early game. And more importantly, the Ember has not been able to do anything. Now they're trying to kill the Bristleback, but they don't have enough damage, honestly. The Epicenter comes out, doesn't hit anyone really. In fact, he was just sacrificed himself. That's the second Epicenter that fails this game. That was a bit weird. And now they're trying to kill the Timbersaw, but is this really the right, or the Bristleback, is that really the right choice? In fact, the Ember Spirit is going to die in the backlines. He's been turned into a chicken. Now the Shackles, finishing him off. They want to go into Twin Protector, silencing him and killing him. That's pretty good, but Roosemind is still in the backlines, dealing damage. And the Bristleback has not been brought down. And you lost an Ember for absolutely nothing, my friend. NFR comes in, beautiful Snakes plus Hex. They have to kill him in time, but that Shackles is lasting way too long. NFR survives. The Requiem of Souls comes in, but it's not enough souls to kill anyone in the Prime and ND, and they'll be forcing buybacks even from the Timbersaw. Now killing Jesse Vash a second time, wanting to go on Yash. Yash needs to kill Roosemind, but in the end, the Prime and ND come in with a counter attack with these snakes and get a really valuable kill onto the Shadow Fiend, and now again onto the Ember Spirit. Forcing a buyback from the Timbersaw is fantastic. Panda can still fight this, honestly. They're starting to go with Solar Crest, forcing the Ghost Scepter. They can still put Viscous Nasal Goose Stacks onto him. The Shrine is driving a good amount of damage on the enemy team. And right now, Bristleback, careful, because he's been hit by the Chakram. He's slowed considerably. They want to go onto him, and they have a 3-man gang squad. 4-man Crystal Mania is really slow right now. Poor Grandma can't actually reach Bristleback's speed, but the Searing Chains will stop him. Oh no, the Remnants missed, and they can't use the bomb in time. The Burst Strike comes in, screws over Happy Feet completely, but the Freezing Field from Jesse Fash is mowing them to bits. Roosemind has to use his BKB just to survive this. Yash from behind, trying to go on to Banda. Will he kill him in time? He won't. Panda will just be sassy, turn his back away, and receive less damage. And with this, the Prominent D will not lose his engagement, but certainly lose much more than they were hoping for. However, Happy Feet have lost a dieback Timber. That is horrendous for them. They lose the Shadow Fiend. They forced multiple buybacks, lose multiple supports, and again, a 3-man gank that was completely wasted in the end after a really, really long and tedious team fight by both the Prominent D and Happy Feet. This is not looking good for the Happy Feet at all. The net worth difference is not going in favor of the Indonesians, and more importantly, these guys have the advantage right now. It's still not late game. It's still not a 40 minutes in, 50 minutes in, where the Prime and D can really do something against Happy Feet. You see that trick? I coughed and I talked at the same time. That was pretty impressive. Where the Happy Feet can do something against the Prime and D because they have the Shadow Fiend. So, since it's not that point in the game yet, the Bristleback is still at his peak. He still farmed really well. The advantage to deny the Ember Spirit as a carry as a whole, so you're only relying on the 4 protect 1 of the Shadow Fiend. And finally, right now with the TA, the Shadow Fiend just can't do anything, like I said, because not only is it the time difference, but only is the TA, the fact that he can burst down someone so easily, and the Shadow Fiend still has not acquired the agility or the items enough to survive this attack from the TA. Now, do they have a burst cycle? Will they see this? They do, but... it's unfortunate that Happy Feet here obviously lose that TA. Sorry, it's unfortunate Happy Feet obviously don't that permanent D doesn't get that kill for them, which is important because obviously killing the Ember Spirit at this point is just more of a fodder kill, where they want to get the extra Bloodstone charge. No, they don't have Bloodstone, what am I saying? They want to get the extra gold reduction onto him because they want to kill him further. Now remember that his net worth will mean less, will mean more though, meaning that it actually loses less gold per kill. It's harder to really completely deny someone from their gold, but it's easier to collect gold from them, right? Because of their net worth. Anyway, they're probably going to go in with a smoke gank in the bottom lane. There is more of the... I think that here's the idea that the Caustic Finale will continue to push, and you will use the rest of your creeps to just kind of destroy what Happy Feet has if they come in on you. No, never mind. They just have the snakes and they're just going to pull them down. This is the worst positioning for the snakes, by the way. Now that they have extra attack range, you want to put them in here so the enemy team can attack them, but that's beyond the point. In they go. The Frostbite is dispelled by the BKB. That's a good epicenter. Exactly what they were looking for. Yes, Vash still doesn't die, though, but the Shackles catches the Timbersaw. They've already destroyed the Shadow Fiend, and the Timbersaw is as good as dead, forcing himself into Eul's Scepter. Actually, might even survive. One last hit from Bruisemind will not come out, and he was close to dying, but still has an Aegis, the Living Armor keeping him alive. Now the second burst, like freezing field is cancelled completely, and James Naismith goes back to the Land of the Dead. Panda finding his Shadow Fiend. That's a dieback from Shadow Fiend. 100 seconds without him. It's a disaster, as NFR marks in the chat. That's the rats going down easily for the Prime and ND, and all they need to do is take another lane, which is really prime and right for the take in the top lane. That's all. That's GG for Happy Feet, because they can't defend this. There's no way they can defend the Mega Creeps from happening if they manage to take these two lanes easily. And the Shadow Fiend actually has a really long respawn timer. Right now, Bristleback trying to kill the Crystal Maiden is going to manage to do so. Jesse Vash goes down thanks to the Solo Crest. He's been silenced though. His attributes been taken away. He has no way of recovering. The TA joins in. No, it's the Shadow Shaman. This bossy motherfucker takes down the Timbersaw with his shackles, just goes straight into his face and says, I'm not scared of your Chakram. I have the stun ready to murder you, and my team has much more damage. Now, why do you need the middle lane? You don't actually need it. The tier 3 is, the tier 2 is still available, so you can't really take the Mega Creeps. Fuck it. That doesn't matter. You go for the tier 4 instead. 45 seconds still cool, then I'm 2 cores of the enemy team. And Jules wants to defend this. The TA coming in with the Desolator and dealing a lot of damage to his towers. James Naismith almost disintegrates himself. Wow, that could have been really lethal if he didn't have the Solar Crest on. Or the silence from the Night Stalker. So they take a tier 4. Are they going to retreat? Seriously? Is it time to retreat? Nuzma doesn't seem to want to. I mean, Jesus, there's 23 seconds till they come back, boys. You know they're diebacks. You know you can fight this. What are they going for? The Roshan's not available. You still have the cheese and the Aegis. What the hell are you afraid of? It's a Night Stalker. He has 350 damage. That's all he does. He'll void you, and then he'll look at you in the eyes and say, please don't kill me. Like a dying sheep. That's horrendous. You can't do anything. Prime and D, please just go into the finish of the game. You have the complete control right now. Ruzbot is just going to keep this lane pushed in the middle lane. It seems like they want to go for Mega Creeps. The safe way is, according to them, taking it down. Wow, that's even despite the backdoor protection. That's actually ridiculous. I just realized. Wow, that's with the backdoor protection on. Holy Lord. Okay, Happy Feet will be losing. We'll be losing that tower. But no more. I mean, this game is not looking good for them at all right now. 27 kills, 30. It seems even, but really, with the current farm of the Shadow Fiend as opposed to the TA, that's a 10,000 net worth difference between the both of them. The Bristleback is equally as farm as the Shadow Fiend, but he fulfills a completely different role, so it's even better because you have a tank per se, a utility tank, and then a damage dealer in this situation being the Templar Assassin. You know. Bye-bye, Night Stalker. Bye-bye, Gem. That's goodbye to the Aghanim Vision. That so many things lost just with one hero kill. And wow, sad trombone, crybaby. Indonesians, Jesus. Why are you so toxic? That was really brutal. They get a kill on the Night Stalker in like 2 seconds, and then immediately they start going and laughing at him in their own allies chat. No, I'm kidding. That's pretty fun. The Prime and ND will be taking down a couple creeps and just deciding to walk.
Invisibility.
R7 in the bottom lane is just scouting out a bit, using his Shrimp Protector extra movement speed. He's going for these new changes we're seeing on the supports with the Solar Crest change. We're seeing much more utility items. The mechanism, not so fond of, honestly. It's done nothing this whole game, frankly. But the extra armor's not that bad, though, against the Shadow Fiend. I'll give you that. It actually cancels, to some degree, the presence of the Dark Lord aura, which is okay. It does give a bit of aura in the restore itself. I'm sorry, a bit of armor in the restore itself, a bit of HP aura. It's okay. But here, the fourth is what I like. Being able to see items when wielding the Trim Protector that are not just Blink Dagger and Solar Crest. It's nice to see some diversity again. Okay, Crystal Maiden hit 2 hits and she dies quite easily, honestly. And even the Timber Saw is gonna die. He's forced to go for a Ghost Scepter. That's not good. I mean, we've already seen this before, but it's been saying in this whole game, oh no, the Hex into the Shadow Fiend. The Lincoln's got popped. It seems like he had Lincoln's on. No, that's weird effect from the Companion. Guys from NP don't care. The Prime don't care. Oh, until they go with a Burst Strike Epicenter. They catch 3. Beautiful Burst Strike. Yash is the first objective. He has to Yul Center himself to not die. Yash will go down because he's been hexed by, again, the Shadow Shaman. This killer of soul. Jesus Christ. How is he being in every single line, every single time they go in on a kill? The Shadow Shaman somehow blinks to them with his Blink Force Staff, ultimate mobility build, and hexes them, shackles them to the floor. There's nothing you can do when the Shadow Shaman is falling behind you. Now, the Night Stalker will die 2 times. That is a dieback, and that is no more vision in the night. Hex to the Shadow Fiend. GG is called by a happy feet. They say, please, we know you guys want to stay in the winner's brackets. Just let us win this last one because the second one goes completely in the Prime ND's favor. Take it, making this matchup a 1-1 and making the last match the most precious of them all because whoever wins it will win this best of